You are listening to the Critical Mass Radio Show, Orange County's business talk show, focused on exploring topics of interest to CEOs who are leading middle market companies. With your host, Ric Franzi.
Welcome to Orange County's longest running business talk show and podcast. And yes, I am your host, Ric Franzi. And oh boy, do we have a good show planned for you today. Why do you ask? Because it's obvious. Ray Smith is with us. He is the president and CEO of Trycera Financial Incorporated. Ray, welcome to the program.
Hey, Rick, it's great to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, let's get right into it and give us an understanding, Ray, for who Trycera is, what problems are you solving for people, who do you help, and if you can give us a persona, the type of entrepreneur business owner that kind of gets the most value out of working with your firm, that would be helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rick. So Trycera has been in the consumer credit. I have been in the consumer credit since 1998, and I took over Trycera in 2009, and we've helped consumers access good credit. But the problem with getting bad credit, it isn't the credit that's the problem, it's their spending. So we focused on putting a spending plan in place for consumers. So we did like a 3-pegged stool, rich wealth, where we had the rich money aspect, the spending, and then the rich credit, fixing their credit, but adding good positive trade lines, and then starting to accumulate wealth. So those are the three in the consumer industry. And then when COVID hit, we pivoted and we got into business credit because business owners were struggling so much. And being in the business of credit based on the EIN number is such an unknown out there. So we really put a robust program together for entrepreneurs. And that's what we do today, is help them secure funding based strictly off of the EIN credit and not attached to their personal social security or having a personal guarantee. And the reason that is so important is because a lot of entrepreneurs during COVID had to sacrifice everything they had to save their businesses, and they've had damaged personal credit, and they're really struggling. Even today, people we fought through everything to get through to today, and now we're still struggling because entrepreneurs can't access that working capital they need because they're trying to use their personal credit. Where we bring that solution, we will get you funding based only on your EIN number, not attached to your revenue in the beginning and not attached to a personal guarantee. So that's really what we specialize in today.
So let's unpack that a little bit, because my assumption is when you say EIN number, people know what you're talking about. But maybe there's an entrepreneur who could benefit from, what are you talking about, Ray, when you're talking about somebody's EIN?
Yeah, and that's what happens when you mention business credit. There's this glossy film that comes over people's eyes because they just don't have a clue. And I think the banks set it up that way because they want the highest interest rates possible, right? That's what their job is to get as much revenue. But in the short, everyone knows about Dun & Bradstreet, but there's really 3 bureaus for business credit: Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, and Equifax Business Credit. And a lot of times when people incorporate, their credit profiles are automatically created at those bureaus, but they're not activated. So then when they say, hey, would you like a business credit card? You say, yeah, I'd love one. You apply and you get denied. And then after 2 or 3 times, you just say, the heck with it. I'm just going to use what I know, and that's my personal credit. So what we do is we have a platform. It's called the Fundability Platform, which we tie in your EIN number, your Dun & Bradstreet number, Equifax, and Experian Business into that. And then we have lenders looking at that, and they're looking to see how many trade lines you have on your business credit profile. And tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4 lending. Tiers 1 doesn't need any requirements. You can get approved. And so that's what we do, is we get you approved right away with tier 1, and we get you minimum of 5 trade lines collectively. And as soon as you have 5, 8 is better, trade lines collectively reported between Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian, then credit unions and banks will all want to give you a credit card because you will have good paydex score. That's a good term out there that everyone's heard of, but they don't quite understand it.
Right.
And then Experian and Equifax have their own scores too. Business credit lenders don't always report to the bureaus, and they only usually pull from one of the three bureaus. So that's why we have to make sure that everything is perfect on those three before you apply. And then that's our slogan: know you qualify before you apply.
Well, it's as you're explaining it, Ray, the correlation that I'm making is people have varying levels of credit worthiness based on their payment history, all those lines of credit and that stuff. And what you help your clients do is do the same thing, only for their business as a standalone entity that has credit worthiness in and of itself based on its EIN number. Yes?
Exactly. And the majority that we have found, business creditors don't even report to the bureaus. So you will be making your payments, but they're not getting reported to help your business credit profile. So we actually put you in front of lenders that we know you'll qualify, but that will also report to help build that business credit profile.
So, Ray, we only interview entrepreneurs and business owners here in Orange County, California. My sense is you help clients in a larger geography than just Southern California. Is that true?
We do, all across the country, yes.
Across the country.
I moved to Orange County in 2010, and it's been my home. And so that's where we're based out of. But yeah, we help companies nationwide.
So the programs that you're using to help your clients establish credit for their business, they're universal then in the U.S. I mean, it doesn't matter what market they're in, these projects, this will work for them too.
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay. Is there anything else about Trycera's business model that we didn't get a chance to talk about, Ray, before I move you on to some other areas that I wanted to cover with you?
Well, I know what you're going to ask, but what we do is we create a profile of your business similar to a Carfax. So you wouldn't buy a used car without pulling a Carfax from that vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we want business owners to do, is get their Carfax on their business before they apply, because they're going to know, you're going to know as a business owner what the banks see, and then what you can fix before you even apply, because you have to know that you're going to qualify before you apply.
Yeah, one of the things you said that was sort of, you said, and I didn't really touch on it at the time, but I didn't want to leave this conversation without, I think I heard you right, Ray, when you said Trycera's program ultimately can help a business to get lines of credit without a personal guarantee by the entrepreneur and founder. Is that true?
That's exactly what we want to have happen. So the whole EIN system was set up back in the day because entrepreneurs, they're a unique breed. We are, right? And we have this give or heck spirit inside of us, and we're the ones that develop and try and fail and try and fail. So that's why they came up with the EIN number. So you could set up a corporation, apply for credit, do your business. If it didn't work out, because a lot of businesses fail. Then you could start another one, regroup, and go again. Well, then the bank said, look, this is being taken advantage of, so we're going to make you personally guarantee it, which basically eliminated the reason for having an EIN number. Because if you're right, because once it all goes down, you're sunk.
Yeah.
So we're going back to the basics, and we're getting to the lenders that only allow credit based on the EIN number and without that personal guarantee, because this is the energy that's in this country right now. There's a boom happening, and when you talk to entrepreneurs all across this country, there's just an energy, and it's exciting, it's invigorating, and we don't want them to be hampered just because they don't have access to money. And so we want to be that conduit to help them get that money and teach them on how to do it.
Yes, any seasoned entrepreneur that's out there, even early stage entrepreneur, quickly realizes and knows that to grow your business, it takes money.
Money isn't everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen.
I mean, growth, depending on the business model, growth takes capital. You have to be able to invest in the business before you get the ROI many times. And, many times people do not have the ability to grow their business because they can't afford to finance it, if you will, because the business just doesn't have enough profit in it to kind of fund that growth. So I'm so glad we found you, Ray, and we got you here on the show. Is there something you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, well, that's what we don't want to just do, is fix the problem today. We know there's a problem today. We know that you needed money 3 weeks ago. We get it. But let's get you that first round, and then let's set you up so that we can get you that second, third, and fourth round and be ahead of the game, so that you, the entrepreneur, can focus on your business and not have to worry about this start, stop, because you need that momentum and you need access to that money. And we'll always be ahead of the curve, working hand in hand with you. And that's what we really specialize in, is helping the entrepreneurs that way.
It's a valuable service. And as I said, I'm glad we're having this conversation here on the show. I do want to move us in a little different direction, though, and ask you to reflect on maybe a piece of business advice that somebody gave you along the way, Ray, that you find valuable, that you could pay it forward and share it with our audience today. Do you have something?
Absolutely. So in 2015, I was fortunate enough to meet Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, and he did the infomercials, the Ginsu knife, OxyClean, George Foreman grill. And I did an episode with him on a different test pilot program, and we hit it off. And then we became friends, and he's been my mentor all along the way. And then COVID happened, and I didn't know what to do. And he said, Ray, there's a lot of times in business we don't know what to do, but we got to lean into it and just keep going, because if we stop, that's when we sink. So, and I remember it going in football practice, you got to keep your legs chopping, because as soon as you stop, you fall over, right? They'll get you. And that's the way it is in business. You just got to keep going, no matter if you're not moving forward, but you're still just chopping those legs, keeping it going forward, and you'll get through it. And that's what I suggest to all entrepreneurs, because every business is going to have dark days. I mean, it's a fact, and maybe a lot more than one. But you just got to keep going. You can't stop, and you can't give up.
That's such great advice, because being an entrepreneur is challenging. And many times it's one step forward, two steps forward, and one step back. You feel like, and maybe it's one step forward and two steps back too. But it's usually not this straight line up and to the right. There's always this permutations of the business model, etc. So I like that advice, Ray, and I believe in it. It's the guy that gets up every time from being knocked down that ultimately can win the race. So cool.
Yeah, and I think that's what sets us apart, is because we get numb to getting knocked down, and people would ask Kevin during the infomercials, like 1 out of 3 would flop. And he'd say, how do you deal with that? And he says, I just bake it into the equation. I'm going to have failures, but I don't know how we can move forward unless we keep trying different things. And we have to just keep trying. And you'll hear all those negative voices and those so-called friends around you that are too scared to do it. You got to fight through that also. I mean, it's true. A lonely place. It's not lonely. It's very spacious at the top.
Yeah, but you're right. There's not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Fewer still are cut out to be a founder and an entrepreneur because of the challenges. It's hard. And until you've tried it, you can't really understand what it is to be an entrepreneur until you strap them on and you try it yourself, because life will test you in every way possible to make sure you're serious about this business you're creating. So I'm glad for your insight and the advice that you brought to us, Ray. Thank you. We're going to have kind of a 2-level conversation, maybe 3-level, on AI with you, Ray. So the first conversation is I'd kind of like to keep it up a little bit, and that's, in general, your view of the innovation called artificial intelligence, and maybe a little more specifically, how you see it impacting the industry that Trycera is in. And then we're going to have a little deeper conversation about your fundability report and how that kind of leverages AI. But before we get there, can you just kind of give us an overview of what you see of AI, and 2, how you see it impacting your industry?
I think AI today is scary because it's the unknown. It was like the internet was when it came out, and like the robots in the car industry when the robots were created. And everyone thought, well, there's just going to be these warehouses, assembly lines of robots and no humans. And it's just not the case. It's a shift. And with AI, I think all entrepreneurs need to at least look at it. They might not have to utilize it today, but it's another tool in the tool chest, because being an entrepreneur is a lot of work and you don't have time to do all the work. And if AI can answer your phones and be your customer service 24/7 and help your clients and make you open 24/7, then that's what you should do. If you can use it as a marketing campaign to help do an outreach program to existing clients and tell them about specials, and have the AI chat help streamline that process, it'll help you get more efficient as an entrepreneur. And that's what you need. You need efficiency. And that's really what I see AI doing. I don't look at it as like this big brain that's going to take and everyone's going to be zombies. I just think it's a tool, just like our computers are a tool. We used to have big computers, and now we have laptops and iPads, and now everybody's doing everything on their phone. Well, it started with the big computer, and AI is that today. And it's how we utilize it. And we got to utilize it to help our own business. And that's what I suggest every entrepreneur do, is read up on it, research it, and see how can I take a AI component and replace something in your business, and then take that money or that person and put them in a different place so that your business can grow faster.
Excellent. And I think you practice what you preach. So let's talk a little bit about the fundability report, because I know there's an AI element to it. So maybe explain again what the fundability report is, and then help us to understand how AI is enabling it.
Yeah, so our website is ai.trycera.com. And what you do is you put in your business information, and it goes out to public records and pulls it in, and we create a fundability report. So we're showing you what the lenders see. Everybody, and back in the consumer credit days, I would say you go into a car dealership and you fill out an application, and then you sit there with a knot in your stomach waiting for the finance manager to come. Well, there's no reason for that, because you can pull your own credit reports, know where you're at, and walk into that dealership with confidence. Well, that's what we want you as a business owner to do. We want you to know that when you apply, the approval is going to come back. And I tell people, it's like if you have a calculator and I have a calculator and we both hit 4 + 4, we know that the answer is going to be 8 on both calculators. Why is that? Because that's what was programmed in them before we bought them. And so what we're doing is we're programming into the credit bureaus the data that's needed. So when the lender hits the submit button, the approval is automatically going to come back, because we know that ahead of the game. And that's what sets you ahead of your competitors and your competition, and ahead in life with your business owner, is always knowing what's coming up. And so the AI helps us do that. And then we use the AI to help book appointments. So if somebody goes through that process and they want to schedule an appointment with a live person, and we do live video calls with the business owner, but the AI is the appointment setter. What time works for you? What questions do you have? And then we ask a list of questions. How long has your business been open? How much revenue per month? So that our agent, when we get on that phone call with you, we don't want to waste our time or your time. We want to get right down to business and let's get the job done. And that's how I'm saying you need to use AI as a tool to make your business more efficient. And that's what we do.
And I'd seen when we were doing our research to get ready for this interview that the fundability report is a relatively newer offering for Trycera, right?
It is. It's like the Carfax, and that's why we came up with it. The concept, you wouldn't buy a car without a Carfax. Well, why would you apply for a loan without your fundability report? Because you're going in blind, and we want to take down all these barriers and stop wasting time. We want to get right to it and get that money in your hands.
It should allow the person to negotiate a better deal too.
Absolutely.
If you know it, knowing you're pre-qualified, then
a level playing field.
Beer.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Tell us about the future, Ray. Where do you see taking Trycera and its service offerings in the future?
Well, what's happening right now, it's called the Great Wealth Transfer. There's $68 trillion of wealth being transferred from the baby boomers, which is called the silver tsunami, because they're retiring, selling their business, or closing down, and this new generation that's coming in the golden age that's here. And we're at the precipice of it. And so there's an opportunity for all entrepreneurs out there right now. If you're thinking about starting a business, do it now. And what we want to do is we want to be with you in the very beginning. So we start building that business credit, because over the next 2, 3, 4 months, you'll have access to 100,000, 150,000 of working capital to start to incubate your business if you're a startup or whatever size your business is. And that's what's happening right now. So we want to be in the forefront of this whole movement, because if people watch the news, there's trillions of dollars of investment money coming into this country. Well, if Saudi Arabia is investing $1 trillion or whoever in a data center in Austin, I lived in Vegas from 98 to 2004, and there was 6,000 people a month moving to Vegas, building casinos. Well, everyone was focused on the casinos, but those 6,000 people a month, they needed schools, they needed restaurants, they needed dry cleaners, they needed whatever your passion is. Start to think of what you could do around those areas and help support those employees in those communities, or even in your local community where you're at. And that's what we want to get out there. Is it's time to not be scared. COVID, people are still scared. And if they have a poor credit score, they feel it's their character reference score, and it's not. It's a computer generated score. Forget about it. Stand up, puff your chest out, and be an entrepreneur and go for it, because there's only a select few of us that love doing this. It's crazy sometimes, but we love doing it. And that's really what we want to do here at Trycera, is help as many entrepreneurs as possible and tear down these walls.
So if someone would like to connect with you, maybe on LinkedIn, Ray, and learn more about Trycera and maybe fill out the fundability report, how do they do those things, please?
Yeah, they just go to ai.trycera.com, and our social media pages are there: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and LinkedIn. ai.trycera.com, and that's the best place to start.
Okay. Well, I said at the top of the show, we had a good one for you, and we talked kind of all things business financing with Ray Smith. And so, Ray, I really want to thank you for being a guest on our show today.
Rick, it's like writing your background. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And every entrepreneur, you know you can. Get out there and do it. And thank you very much, Rick, for this time and sharing it with your audience.
And I'd like to thank the audience. You're part of Orange County's longest running business talk show and podcast. Ray's episode now joins our catalog of close to 1,600 shows that we've done over the years.
Wow.
If you happen to be an Orange County entrepreneur or a nonprofit leader here in Orange County, and you would like to share your story with our audience, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, connect with me. I'm Ric, R-I-C, Franzi, F-R-A-N-Z-I. Let me know that you want to be a guest. Between Haley, our long-term producer, she's been with us since 2016. We can get you set up to share your story like Ray just did. And until the next time we all have a chance to be together, I hope each of your business decisions will move your company in a positive direction.